Be excellent to each other and party on. We're back for another Legacy League, and today we are playing Grixis Moonshadow Tempo. We have Moonshadow in the house. We have Dragon Rage Chandler, the #1 Moonshadow enabler. She's always helping bring out the worst tendencies in Moonshadow. And then we also have some really good other black and red cards. We've got 3 Orcish Bowmaster. We've got 4 Bolts. We've got Molten Collapse, which is just insane at dealing with Chalice and big fatties that we can't handle, like Murktide. And we've got 2 Snuff Out. I love this card, and it's really good right now. And then we just have exactly 20 blue cards, which is the lowest blue count I'd feel comfortable queuing into a league with, but we can buttress it a little bit in the sideboard. We have a couple Force Negations. We also have 3 Consigns. If we're up against combo, we can bring in 3 Thoughtseizes. We have a couple Fatal Pushes if we're up against one of the many fair matches out there. Like, Magic is mostly fair right now. Legacy is. And then we've got a couple Meltdowns, which are good against Chalice decks. And we've got a couple Pyroblasts, which are an insane card, but blue's actually not that common. Like, I've been running into less and less blue lately. And then Grafdigger's Cage. For the low price of 1 colorless mana and 1 sideboard slot, you can kind of address the Green Sun Zenith and Natural Order package, and you can also just have a cool card to play if you run into that rogue Dredge player or somebody still trying to make Reanimator work in 2026. So I am really hyped to play a full 5 rounds with this and see whether this holds up. But in theory, we get the DRC out, or we get the Moonshadow out first, then we get the DRC, fill up our graveyard, trigger for free with baubles and stuff, and then we go probably wide to an extent, but mostly just go very far forward very fast. All right, we are up against a Delver opponent. I think this is fine. We don't have... is this fine against Delver? I don't actually like this. I would like to have a second land. We don't have any basics in the deck because we're playing 3 colors, and when you're playing a 3-color Wasteland deck, you generally don't want to play basics. Let's mulligan. I mean, this is turn 1 DRC. I'm going to hope that it's good. We have Daze to protect. They're probably just going to presume we're on the mirror, so we'll be able to... What do we put back? Bolts is pretty good against Delver. I think I'm going to put back this Orcish Bowmaster because I expect to get wasted, and it's the only 2-drop in my deck, other than Murktide, which is kind of a 2-drop, I guess. I am going to go ahead and play Delver. Now, the theory is people don't waste into an active Delver card, and I say Delver, but like just generically like a Delver type creature, DRC. And I'm going to hope that they try to remove this with a Bolt or something, and I can Daze, and then I'll have a land guaranteed to play. The Nightmare would be a Wasteland, but they don't Wasteland, thankfully. They're fetching. I'll probably Daze just about anything they put on the stack here. Yeah, I'll Daze that. And they may Daze back, which is fine. I'll Surveil. I may be revealing what's in my deck by surveilling here. They Daze back around my Surveil. Okay. They are going to get their Delver in, but I can just Bolt it. And they've used their Daze. I'm going to bend the Bauble. I don't... let's see. This is a trigger. Is it ever correct to draw this? I think I might actually draw it because it's a guaranteed trigger on top of the Bolt. Yeah, I'm going to keep it. I actually don't know, but it like draws through. I'm not sure if I didn't think very hard about it. I was just like, yeah, okay. They had the Bauble, so they're going to get some value out of this immediately, unfortunately. All right, but we are going to get the Bauble plus 1 more card in our yard, but they're just going to see the Bauble and they're going to be like, oh, that wasn't right. Why would you leave a Bauble on top when you could just put it directly? But it doesn't really matter. I'm confident unless they have Force that we are going to be able to remove theirs, and we'll be the one with the DRC and not them. The other option is I could just go ahead and Bauble and get double triggers and then start racing them. I don't think I'm going to be able to get her Delirious, but that is something I can do. I think that's actually correct. And just let them have this for a turn. They're going to have Delirium almost certainly next turn. I could like just get lucky, and I would need to be extremely lucky. Molten Collapse goes to the yard. That's not even a good card in this matchup. And then another Daze. I actually think we take it because we're going to draw it. And yeah. And assuming they don't have Wasteland. Yeah. So we'll just use it here. See what their top card is. Hopefully it's not Wasteland. It's Brainstorm. I am going to go ahead and attack, and I don't think they're going to trade. I think they're just going to take it. Okay, yeah. All right, so we get our daze, which is nice. And then we just have to dodge Wasteland. Next turn, I have Ponder, which is going to fill up our yard. And then we'll be hitting them pretty hard. Okay, good. They didn't waste. This is fine. I'll let this resolve. I want to daze something bigger, like a second threat. They are going to be hitting us for 3, but then they're not going to be able to block the 6 we're sending their way next turn. Yeah, they have Delirium now, so they have to attack. I am kind of tempted to just bolt this off the table. That won't necessarily be enough. Let's see, what do we draw? I need to achieve Delirium, which I can do right now. No, wait, I can't necessarily. I'm going to go ahead and Ponder with the hope of hitting a second land. All right, this goes this time. And it probably was correct to do it last time. Murktide is just too slow. That gives me Delirium. Okay. I don't like these cards. I mean, I can Snuff, actually. And then I don't want the Forces. I think I any order shuffle this. Wait, if I Snuff, then I can just bin the Forces. And then we still have the Bolt up to finish them off. Yeah, I'll do that. Okay, and let's just do this now. Oh, I don't have a freaking swamp. I'm so dumb. I'm so dumb. I punted my excellent friends. I'm so sorry. That was embarrassing. And now we don't have an answer to what they're going to do next turn. We are hitting them for 6, and they're only hitting us for 3, but like that's cold comfort when we're going to be drawing 2. We're going to be drawing 1 force. I will Ponder to try to get rid of it, and they still haven't wasted us, which is a Christmas miracle. Unfortunately, this is going to get through. I can only daze once, one of these spells that they're going to cast. Okay. They're at 12. Yeah, I just feel so dumb. Like I was like, wait, why am I not able to cast it? Oh, because I don't have a swamp. Read the card. All right. So this is my first time with this deck. Cut me some slack. All right. Let's see what they do here. Storm Chaser talent. I could daze that. I'm not going to draw a land next turn. I'm going to go ahead and daze now. Just in case they have like a daze on top. They may daze back. This does get rid of one of the forces. Okay, and that works. Okay, so they get their Surveil. And if they find... Let's see, what do we do here? Do we bolt their DRC? And then I could just hold the force to deal with whatever they play next. But, if I bolt... I do need to get in several times. I think I want to Ponder into a swamp to Snuff out, and then I hold. That's what I'd like to do. So this force will go to the... Oh, wait, it's Brainstorm, but it's going to go to the bin. We're looking for exactly swamp. I mean, this has to be a shuffle, unfortunately. Leaves me extremely vulnerable. Okay, that is terrible. But we do have a blue card to go with our force after we get wasted. But I basically have to force anything they do here, or I'll attempt to daze if they're not completely tapped out. But yeah, like I really screwed this one up. Okay, that's not a wasteland. We're getting so lucky that they're not finding a wasteland here. Okay, so we'll take our 3 here, but we are winning the race because we did get that one attack with 6 for 6 that one turn. If they murk, I'll just force. They are murking. I will attempt to force, but likely they have a force blue card here, and then I'm going to need a swamp to Snuff out immediately. But I will, when I force, I will get a Surveil, and I can dig closer to a swamp. And then I can, then I'll be able to bolt this and Snuff out their Murk, if it still exists. Snuff out's very good in this kind of pseudo mirror, I suspect. It's been a long time since anybody's jammed Snuff out into a Delver deck. They were doing it when I first got back into Legacy, like for real, and actually bought cards and went to tournaments and stuff. It was during the right before the Initiative era, and it turned out Snuff out was just insane against the Initiative. Okay, so we'll force here. They could have Spell Pierce. They could have a lot of things here. We do get a trigger. We're dead if we don't find the swamp here. They get the Surveil first. Okay, our Surveil. That goes to the yard. Come on, deck. Don't do me dirty like this. I've seen one land. I'm playing 18 lands. Come on, give me a land, please. I don't want to lose an otherwise completely winnable game just because I punted one time. But like in Legacy, if you punt even once, you probably deserve to lose. Good game. Yeah, we're going to crash in and then we're going to die next turn. That was pretty pathetic start to the league, but hang in. We've got a lot more rounds to go. I'm going to bring in my Pyroblasts. I'm going to bring in my Fatal Pushes. And they did see the black, so they should expect it. Molten Collapse does deal with Delver. I don't think we need Brazen Borrower here. I am not going to be wasting them, and I don't really have any use for colorless mana. I think I take out the Wastelands rather than take out the Dazes. But they do help me. It's really cutting my mana base thin. I could just take out the Forces. Yeah, I'll do that. And then I'll just hope to not choke on mana. But I'm like way more vulnerable to Wasteland than they are because I have to get 2 colors. They only need to get 1. And I'm not playing a Badlands. You may be wondering why not. I just wanted to make sure I had 8 fetches so I'd be able to reliably trigger Moonshadow. And it would have had to go down to 7. And that does make like selection a little harder too. And if you draw the Badlands when you're like trying to mark or something, it's pretty embarrassing. Okay, so I think we'll just do it like this. I do think Molten Collapse is worth it, but is it worth it? I don't actually think it is worth it. I think I'd rather just have a second Force. Let's go. Molten Collapse is good against exactly... Oh, this is a workable hand. It doesn't have any explosiveness, but I'll keep this, and then I can kind of force to keep Bowmasters on the table. And I would like to decide whether I want to keep my land, but I'm actually going to just wait till the last minute to fetch here. So I'll just go ahead and bobble them, just get information. You can use it for like selection, but let's see what they have. And they are like a seasoned Delver player. Like they just play Blue-Red Delver. So they have way more reps than I do. And I haven't been playing Tempo at all recently. I'm not convinced it's particularly strong right now. Okay, that's great. So next turn we can potentially just Moonshadow, and then we can't fetch though. Is this a force? I'm just going to Bowmaster and I'll force to protect the Bowmaster because if that resolves, it's really good. They may have the bobble, but yeah, I don't think they're going to get Delirium here. But they might once they daze/force. We'll see what happens. Okay, Corey. So they're just going to have 2 artifacts in the yard. That's not going to get them Delirium. Okay, they draw. I can deny them information here. I think I am going to. So I'll just fetch my upkeep so they don't know what I'm drawing. But we also don't get to know what they saw. So they draw. Unfortunately, I can't Bowmaster in time, but I'm going to force to get my Bowmaster through. Every fetch gets every land. Okay, that's huge. That was a massive play. The advantage bar just swung very far in our direction. Storm Chaser's talent, I'm not going to fight that. They can't Boomerang Basics back to hand without taking damage. All right, so we'll just chill. I will send this in probably. Let's see, what can I do here? I could waste them. I have the extra land. I think I'm going to Moonshadow and then waste. And that starts growing the Moonshadow. Okay, and then I will waste just to manage their mana base and get my trigger. All right, and now they're gonna have they're not gonna be able to cantrip and stuff, and then like I'll eventually be able to Merc. I don't have good attacks here. I'm just gonna assume they have like Bolt or something here, so I don't want to feed that. And then I'll just use this Orc Army as a way to deny them some damage early on. Okay, they're surveilling here. Okay, they kept. So they probably found a Bolt here, but I am gonna force. I believe this Bowmaster is worth keeping around. They were thinking about maybe Boomerang Basicsing. They can Boomerang Basics this back to hand, and then they can cast their cantrip. Okay, what are they targeting? They're targeting that. Yeah, that's not a big deal. I'll let that go. I'm not going to force that. And I'll take the 2 damage. So that was a 2-for-1. It's important to note that even though they set us back tempo, that's not the real issue. This game is going to go a little longer. Snuff out number 2. That's pretty solid. I'm going to go ahead and play this out and we can just chill. I will attack for 2. I can always snuff this out if it gets too big. Like if they start doing something really crazy with it. But I'd rather hold my stuff out for other stuff. And I think the fact that I have Bowmaster is going to keep them from doing a lot of stuff. I will force to protect my Bowmaster here. Okay, they're attacking in, which makes me assume that they have something they're going to cast here, so I'll just take it. Ponder is great. You're welcome to Ponder into my Bowmaster. I will just ping you because this is going to keep growing. And like one of their outs is just getting a giant Murktide, but I've got that double covered here. If they try to go for that, I'll just let it resolve. All right, so let's untap. All right, Channeler is pretty sweet. I'm going to go ahead and do Channeler now. Yeah, I'll do it. Okay, now what I want to do, I think I just want to snuff this out now. And I'm just going to grab another Underground Sea just to make sure that I keep my swamps about me. I think it's fine to go ahead and just do this now. So I get the Surveil trigger. Okay, that DRC can go in the yard. We're still not Delirious, but that does grow the Moonshadow. I'm going to attack all. I don't think they have any hasty creatures in their deck. And I've got a 3/3 back to block. I've got Force up. Got Snuff out. I don't actually know how I lose from here. Like they could like bolt. Okay, basic island. Respecting, you know, subsequent wastelands. Okay, this is Cutter, maybe. Okay, this is Merc, it looks like. So just in case they have Force of Negation, which I don't think they have in their deck, I think it makes sense to go ahead and cast the Snuff out during my turn. Fight on my turn. And I think they're just dead on board here. Yeah, but I will fight over the Snuff out. All right, I'm going to go ahead and do this now. And they could have Pyroblast here, but I will get a lot of triggers. That goes in the yard. Okay, that worked. So they're dead, I think. Okay, good. And that felt like we had a pretty good margin there. Okay, so now on the draw, I want to bring the forces back in, I think. I'm just terrified. Daze is probably actually not that great here on the draw. I can take out a Daze or two. But then, like, I am reducing the total. Yeah, I think I'd rather have a Brazen Borrower than a Daze. And I do need to cut some cards here. It's really hard. Brazen Borrower is mainly good. Like, it removes, like, the Quarry Cutter tokens, which I presume they're playing. We haven't seen it yet. This is a list from literally today. And they do have... Oh, yeah, we did see it. They bend it at some point off of Surveil Trigger. Yeah, I don't think... Ooh, I like having lots of removal in, for sure. I think Daze is maybe less important here. Force is still important, though. So this is, I believe, 20... Yeah, exactly. No, it's like 19 blue cards. So we're just going to be careful about casting cantrips here. I like Pyroblast a lot because it can deal with Murktide. I think I am going to cut a couple Wastelands out. And we're just going to hope that like they don't turn the screws too hard with Daze. But I can't cut too many blue cards or else I start losing Force of Will viability. This is a mulligan. Even if like none of these cards were what I substituted. Like even if this Fatal Push were a land, I wouldn't have kept it. I don't think. I mean, maybe with the Ponder. Let's mulligan. I want 2 lands. I think this is good enough. This is Island Ponder with a Force. I'm going to put back Bowmaster because I'm almost certainly... is that correct? Yeah, I'm almost certainly going to Ponder here, and then I want to get on board with Moonshadow, which has evasion. It can't block any of their stuff. I don't think they're just going to hang a Delver out that they let me snipe. They may play DRC, but I can Fatal Push her, but I will attempt to Ponder a final land first out of respect for Wasteland. I'm tempted to just force this, frankly. This card like cost me so much momentum. Yeah, I'm going to try it. And then at the very least, I will be able to resolve my Ponder without it getting dazed. They have the daze. Okay, that's pretty brutal, but it's not a trigger that they get. Yeah, and like this may seem really bad, like why are your forces in against Delver? It used to be the case that you didn't keep force in against Delver, but now you probably do want to, especially on the draw. All right, so there we go. I'm just going to stick my Moonshadow and then next turn I'll Ponder. No, I think I'm just going to kill this. Let's be conservative. Okay. And now they've got 5 cards in hand, one of which is a land. Now they're drawing up to 6. They're very favored from here. But, like, okay, they're going to waste. That sucks. I think here, like, they may not have a second wasteland, but they may. If I get the Moonshadow that can grow, I think it'd be a dereliction of duty to not go ahead and... I'm going to get the Underground Sea here, but I am going to ponder. And I'm going to shuffle anything that doesn't have a land. Okay, this is great. So the DRC is not going to ride for a while. Murktide's nice because I'm actually like pretty ready to Murktide. We got the Daze out of their hand. They may have another one. Moonshadow's definitely better in the sense that Moonshadow's not going to get Pyroblasted. They have another one. Okay. That's not good because it's nearly delirious. And I don't have a removal spell on top of my deck, I don't think. Draw Murk. I think I'm just going to Murk here and hope. Is that crazy? I think it is crazy. I'm going to do it. Because if it is out there, then they almost certainly crash into it. They could have bigger Murk. No, they're not going to have bigger Murk. They may have a Daze here, but that's fine. Okay, that's fine. Moonshadow doesn't look at the graveyard anyway. So I'm drawing DRC, but I might be able to ponder into... Or, yeah, a ponder plus... Yeah, if I find a fetch, then I can play the DRC. Bolting me, that's fine. Just surveilling to get... this is probably going to... Yeah, that is Delirium. So we're taking a lot of damage here. Okay. So if we put our own DRC up, she's not going to be Delirious, unfortunately, so she's not going to be able to block. This Ponder might find a Fatal Push, which I would definitely fire off. I think actually that would be the priority this turn cycle, even if I find the fetch. So we can Snuff and Moonshadow this turn, and then we had Daze. This just rots in our hand, but I think that's the way it's got to be, frankly. But yeah, this is too bad. This is too weak. I'm going to shuffle. Okay, another Merc that we can't play anytime soon. I think we're almost certainly dead here. I will play this out. Please Daze it. Okay, they didn't Daze it. Because I don't care about offensive at this point. They've used one of their 3 bolts. Is this another Merc? Okay, is another bolt face like in my face? Oh, they're respecting the Moonshadow. That's nice. So Moonshadow did a good job of drawing fire here. And it will go in the yard, which will feed the eventual Merc if we survive that long. Moonshadow, of course, sees herself die and triggers on the way out, which is hilarious. Okay. I think we're dead now. Even if we throw up a Merc, which is not going to happen here. If we drew a fetch, it wouldn't be enough. Good game. Yeah, that was just... This is 3-color deck problems, frankly. This is an experiment. We're gonna stay strong, but the 2-color Delver deck beat the 3-color deck, and I don't think that should be a surprise to anybody. But it was probably not worse than like a 40-60 matchup, in my opinion. All right, round 2, we're up against frequent enjoyer of Pox. Don't think we have a great Pox matchup, but Moonshadow, I wish we had a force effect or a blue card for force. So this is like a Moonshadow start, but we don't actually have a way to trigger Moonshadow, unfortunately. I'm not convinced this is a good enough hand. Snuff Out probably does nothing against their deck. I'm going to mulligan this. Okay, this is much better. We can just put back the Snuff Out. And then I'll just open Moonshadow and hope they don't have Dark Ritual. Yeah. I mean, I'll presume they were on this like a few days ago, and they're like the biggest Pox stan. The biggest purveyor or enjoyer of Pox. So... yeah, I'll get the Underground Sea here, and then I can potentially Brainstorm, shuffle away the Ponder, which I hopefully won't need, depending on, if they Pox, obviously it's going to be pretty catastrophic. But I will get a fetch and get this out of Bowmaster range next turn, and I can probably Brainstorm before I do that. You do want to get your Brainstorms out of your hand against this deck that definitely wants... oh, gosh, they have it. They're going to freaking Pox me or Bowmaster me or something. And then my entire hand falls apart. Okay. This is catastrophic, needless to say. So they're going to get a flyer. What card am I going to discard here? I think it's Brainstorm. And then maybe it was Bowmaster. Okay, so they get a creature here, and then they have one more mana. And are they going to Thoughtseize this now? It's interesting they chose to do it in that sequence because I absolutely would have forced that. So I think I take issue with how they did it, frankly. I think they should have Thoughtseize first before they cast their payoff spell. But I didn't have the force. All right, so I am going to go get a Tundra or a Volk here, and then I'll ponder. And as long as we get our lands under us, which is not a guaranteed, I mean, they could loam lock us or something, we'll be okay. This is a Murktide Regent. It's not that big. It'll be a 5/5. They won't be able to Fatal Push it, though. I think I do the Murktide Regent here. And I'll just put the Ponder in hand in case they Thoughtseize me again. If they hit me, it's actually catastrophic. But they don't have any mana out. I'm going to trust that they aren't going to be able to hit me. Okay. And so what I'll do this turn cycle is I'll go ahead and put the Merc that they hopefully can't kill on the table. Okay, that was a very all-in hand. Oh, they do have a Wasteland. Okay, so we're not going to be able to do anything here. We can ponder. We're not under pressure, which is nice. I am going to go ahead and get on... I think black is... red is the better color here. Because DRC is insane if we can find it. I'll get the red, and I'll just go ahead and ponder. This is an easy shuffle. Our Brazen Borrower is not going to get us where we need to go. We need to draw exactly land if we wish to survive, which we do. Swamp, okay. They're coming in for a hit. Okay, and that's that. They may have another Pox. Bolt is okay. I'm just going to hold it in case they try to do something here, and then if they do, I can bolt this probably just to not die to it 3 turns later. Gosh! Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and bolt now. Let's bolt this. It sucks. But this way, they won't be able to sacrifice that. Yeah. So we've lost 3 lands, and our odds of drawing lands continue to diminish. Okay, we'll just chill. Nothing's happening. But they're a life from the loam away from winning. Urborg. Now we can just fetch our remaining Volk and then have all 3 of our colors. I'm not feeling happy about where we are, but DRC is a nice draw. This is the end step Bowmasters, which is fine. It does put pressure on us. Cast the Lochthwain. Okay, good game. We're not going to win that. We could get DRC out, but we will never have more land. I don't think it's going to work. So here, this is very much a forced negation matchup. And I'll get these Snuff Outs out that don't do anything against their deck. We could do Meltdown. I don't like Meltdown. Fatal Push. I don't actually care that much about their creatures. They do have maybe so I have a 5-0 league with Loam Pox a while back. And one of the issues is I just don't believe that Hogak is a legacy playable card right now. But the entire Pox Discord, which Blogboy I think runs, he might be the main mod there. They are really behind that card. So I think it's likely that we will have to face Hogak. And unfortunately, Fatal Push doesn't help with that. They could also bring in Barragoyfs. We can take a look at the list they were playing a few days ago. Sure enough, they've got Barragoyfs in there. That makes me want to cut a couple bolts in favor of pushes. They could also bring in Oppo. Leyline would be annoying, but I can potentially Moonshadow's good against that. No, actually, it's really bad against that. All our cards are pretty bad against that, but we do have Bowmasters. I guess that's the Silver Lining and Brazen Borrower. If they Leyline, there's not a lot we can do other than maybe bounce it back to their hand, and they can recast it because they're a blue deck. This is a nightmare matchup for sure. This is one of those 30-70 matchups, and this is a good hand. This is a slow Merc. I'm going to keep it. I can lead with a basic land, or not a basic land because I don't play a basic land. And this can represent, if they Dark Ritual do something, I can, I'll absolutely force. That is good. I'm not going to force that. This will be forced. This card is pretty insane. Players can't pay life. Destroy each non-land permanent with mana value extra less. If we leave this on the table, it will only cause us trouble. We're going to, wait, I can just daze it. Let's go ahead and do that. So I'll get an Underground Sea and I'll just daze it. Okay. So we worked through their first big scary card. And I'm glad I let that resolve. Sometimes it can be scary letting the Dark Ritual resolve, but it's almost always correct unless you're playing against like oops all spells. Okay, and that is, they've already seen the Underground Sea. I might as well play it out. It is more important strategically. And then, yeah, I'll go ahead and play it out. And then if they Bowmaster, at least I can Fatal Push. But they are advancing their game plan and we're not really doing a lot. This is fine. I'll let that go. That'll be annoying later, but it's not worth the force. Right here, I think we just wait. And then what we can do is, if we get lucky and they tap out, we can potentially Brainstorm. Oh, they're just going to use it now. That's great for me. Yeah, I don't have the Bowmaster Punish, but it's okay. I think Murktide it's the only card we have going right now. Okay, so I'm going to float this, and then they're going to probably just go to the next phase. So I'm not going to be able to Brainstorm here. I wanted to Brainstorm around Bowmasters, but they're representing Bowmasters pretty hard here. I'll just play this out and I'll chill. And I'll just hope that they don't have more ways to waste us. Okay, they just put a counter on that. That will be a problem later, for sure. They have Ghost Quarter. I have no basics in my deck. That is pretty terrifying. So I could Brainstorm and then they go ahead and do it, and then I fetch and then I bolt. I like that. I like just advancing my board state. I'm going to do it. Okay, that worked. That's great. So Wasteland is not particularly good, but it is a land. We're not drawing any action, unfortunately. So I think what we need to do is I'll draw this Underground Sea, and I am going to shuffle away. Yeah. Okay, so we'll untap. We'll draw the Underground Sea. So let's think about this. We could ponder and then shuffle. And then let's see, that'll be a total of 4 cards in the graveyard. Yeah, we can't quite get where we want to go with Murktide coming out this turn. I think I'm just going to go ahead and ponder, and I know one of the top cards. I do need to keep this land around though, just in case like they waste one of these. I need to be able to get the other color. So I'm just going to put this in my yard basically. DRC is actually pretty good. So I'm going to do that. And I have a land on top, which is great. And this is not yet Delirious, but she'll get Delirious before too long. We can't make her Delirious, most likely. Yeah, I think there's a very good chance that... Okay, the Bowmaster here is catastrophic. Oshio's Edict. That is fine. I'll just sack it. And then I'm going to try to get in with my Murktide, which can't be easily Bowmastered or otherwise dealt with. Okay, they're paying a lot of mana here. What is this? Baragoyf is fine. I'll just Fatal Push it. And I'll do that in the end step. I'm not happy about this, but like I'm going to be able to mark either way. Down to 3 cards over there. Still not using the Ghost Quarter. Okay, Mishra's Bauble doesn't help us at all. I'm just going to go ahead and do it to see what's going on over there. Okay, they're drawing a Dark Ritual, which I don't think they're going to want to draw. Go ahead and go blue, blue, Murktide. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll leave the other types in my graveyard because Baragoyf's going to see them on their side anyway. And this way, if I do draw a DRC, I can get loose. So we draw a trigger. Another land. Don't hate that. Takanuma, their tech land. Smallpox, this is a force negation. It's pretty important that we do that. They have Dark Ritual and 1 unknown in hand. Oh! Brutal. Yeah, I actually need to keep this land, unfortunately. This is so brutal. Yeah, we're going to lose here, I think. They're going to get 5 flyers. Yeah, good games. They're going to get 5 flyers, and there's no way I'm going to stabilize. I'm trying to think of a world in which... Yeah, I'll just discard the bolt. That way I keep the land. But I have to choose a land as well. I will choose this. Yeah. And that way they'll probably just waste me off this. They can waste their own. They could have Ghost Quartered their own land too. I just don't think we beat 5 of these things. DRC is a start, but she's going to have to crash in. All right. She's going to have to crash in and trade for 3 of their meanies. Liliana, good game. Yeah, I'm just going to concede. Like, this is too adverse of a matchup. Right, round 3, we're 0-2, which is not where I like to be in a league, but we've got some good matches ahead of us. So I feel it. I can feel it. So this is fine. This is Moonshadow, get leveled up. I've got a force blue card. I'm going to keep. We are soft to Wasteland, but we're always going to be soft to Wasteland. And one of the arguments against this deck's construction may be that, like, oh, you should play, some tempo decks are playing 20 lands. But for me, it's just like, those are cards that aren't blue cards that don't pitch to force. It just doesn't feel right to play that many lands in a tempo deck. Historically, like the classic number is 18. 14 blue sources, and let's see, what do we want to do here? I'm just gonna play. I could get information first. This will give me a lot of information. Oh no, I should have freaking done it after the Moonshadow. That was dumb. Sorry, my excellent friends. I did see a Merfolk that I'm gonna need a force here. Yeah, that was really dumb. I could have teched that up. Okay, Bowmaster's not terrible against Merfolk. They had the Wasteland. Okay, they're using it to cast this card, which is really good. I am going to daze it. So the card that they revealed, I presume, was the one I just saw. Yeah, Master of the Pearl Trident. Yeah, I'm going to daze here just to protect my land for a turn cycle. Okay, and we stopped it. That would have been 2 bodies, which would have been able to block my Moonshadow. Come on, land. All right, fetch land. I'm going to waste their waste. I don't want to get wasted. That was a good rip. Okay, and now we can just force the next big thing, which, like, if they play like a Lord, that might be worth forcing. We're not that far from Murktide, but we need an extra land. And this is just a great example of, like, we have exactly 1 land and we can't do everything we need to do. This is fine. I'm not going to fight this. This is an Island Walker. If you want to watch me play a league with this, I recently played a league with it, and it's pretty good. So this is just Moonshadow is our only real play unless we want to brainstorm, but I want to brainstorm next turn. Then I'm going to go ahead and keep pushing pressure on them. And I'm almost certainly going to force whatever they do here. Because, like, everything in the deck does one thing. It's either a fish that has, like, some ability that's cheap, or it's a Lord. Okay, wow. They don't have a second land. That's freaking phenomenal. If true. Because that Wasteland was freaking insane. All right, so they're going to do the thing, and I'm just going to brainstorm to get deeper into my deck here. Because it was tapped. I'm going to go ahead and brainstorm in a very inopportune time. All right, so we're going to put these back. These aren't going to do anything this game. And it's basically we force their next few plays. Yeah, that's how it works. We just hope they stay on 1 land. We have to get lucky here. Wasteland, and we're out of commission. But we do have double force if they do find a land. Looks like they're going to do... Oh, they're going to come in. That's fine. What's their draw if they're... Okay, interesting. Right. Well, they're not going to be able to race me here. I am going to have to go to discard next turn, but that's a turn from now. Going to discard will actually put something in the graveyard, which will grow these. So I actually do want to go to discard if I can. I'd love to discard this DRC that's not castable. And when you see, like, the only 3-color mana bases are, like, up the beanstalk, this is the reason. Is it's really hard to play a 3-color tempo deck. Silvergill, that's another force. I will force pitch Murktide. Again, I don't think that it's necessary at this point. We've got plenty of stuff going on over here. Okay, they're forcing back. I will let them do that if they so desire. And now I will force a second time. You might be saying, but what about brainstorm? You could have brainstormed there. No, it's not going to matter. We're going to win, I think, before that happens. Hopefully. Hopefully we'll find a fetch here or a Wasteland and the game will be over. Ponder's great because it lets me potentially dig for a creature. Yeah, I think this is fine. So we just fetch and then we bolt them and they're dead. That seems pretty good. And they've already used their force. We don't actually even need to bolt them technically. Though they won't be quite dead. And these have menace, so they can't be blocked. So good game. Okay. This is an unfavorable matchup for sure. Pyroblast get in. Fatal Pushes get in. Snuff Out's actually pretty good here. I'll take out all my... wait, I don't have Thoughtseize. Never mind. You always take out Thoughtseize against like pure aggro decks like Merfolk. I think we could take out Force, but I think it'll actually be important to keep us alive. The main issue is we're not going to be able to block anything. Bowmaster, I don't think does anything. They have like one card that draws. Almost all their cards have 2 toughness. There are situations where they don't. Molten Collapse definitely gets... well, Molten Collapse can hit an Aether Vial, but I don't think it's worth it. We're just never going to have the mana. We should assume that they're going to be wasting us. Our Wastelands are not going to be good. That was a lucky situation. And if we're not going to be casting any of those... oh, Brazen Borrower sucks here. So that's 59 cards. We could bring back in a Merc. I don't like it. Yeah, I think that's how we're going to do it. And I'll keep the dazes in just because they were pretty good there, even though on the draw. Like, we're unlikely to daze anything. Actually, you know what? I think I'm going to cut the dazes. Because we're on the draw. I'd rather have Bowmaster. Because he can potentially ping something and produce bodies. Yeah, we'll do that. So I still have 2 dazes. It's not complete dazelessness. If that's a word. I just made it a word, so it is now. Okay, we'll do this. And like blowing up the main thing is we just have to work through however many Merfolk they draw. This hand does a good job of doing that. So I'll keep this. They will draw air. They'll draw, okay. No turn 1 play. That's good. It gives us a little room to breathe. All right, so let's go ahead and just see what they're drawing here. I do think I want to ponder. Just fill up my yard. Okay, they're drawing Silvergill, which I definitely want to daze. So I mean, they could waste me, but then they won't be able to play it. I think they're not going to do that. I'm going to take a chance here, and I'll ponder to try to find another land. So I do want to get a underground sea just in case I need to panic snuff. Yeah, because I'll be tapped out otherwise. All right, and now we want to try to set up the Volk. Beautiful. This is incredible. So I'll take the Regent. Do I want to take the Regent in hand? That's how I'm going to kill them. Yeah, I do, just in case they have a force. And then I'll draw the Volk next turn, and then I'll draw the underground sea after that. Yeah, this worked great. And just in case I have to pitch, there's no point in putting the land in hand right now. Okay. Now we can pass. I will daze and do basically anything I can to delay here because I want to get Merc out. Cavern. Okay, so my dazes aren't going to do anything, but I can stop like a, sink into stupor or something later. It really sucks. This is 2 bodies. Nothing to be done about it. I need to stop the Lords, so I'll just let these bodies hit here and I'll just take some damage and then I'll stop the Lord later. Is that what we want to do? We could snuff out but we're not going to be able to get Merc next turn. I think I'll waste this. I think that's what I'm going to do. That turns back on my disruption. Doesn't feel good. I can't bolt, so this man is just going to rot. All right, and then we'll hope that they don't have another one. If they start wasting us, they have a clock now, and we don't. I'm hoping that they play like Island Lord, and then I can just snuff that out. Or I'll daze it. Actually, I'll probably force it, because I want to... oh, no. Okay, they're doing this. I'll float a blue. I don't think they play daze. Oh, I could have snuffed there, actually. But, yeah, actually, I punted. I should have snuffed, probably. They're not going to do anything here, and I could have gotten more power on my Merc. Merc may be big enough as is, though. Because I will have... I'll leave with the bolt here, the bolt land. And then I'll just hold this stuff out for later, because I can do this in the same turn cycle as I deploy a Merc if I need to get extra power on Merc, which I'm probably going to want to do. Ah, what a beating! What a beating. I mean, I don't mind losing to Merfolk because it's like a deck near and dear to my heart, but that is a beating. Okay, and now we can just bolt here, and we only take 3. And we fill our yard. Okay, and they're down to 4 cards, but like those are probably 4 Merfolk. Because we're 13, and snuff out's going to hurt. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, I mean, it's just such a kick in the teeth that they had that. But I am going to go ahead and do this now. And then I just hope they don't have a Lord. But if they do have a lord, they have fewer creatures, and I've got a pretty big attacker here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Blue, blue. I can protect him on the stack. They could like stun him down with, like, okay, this is the force. Great. That's phenomenal for me. And they pitched a Blood Pit Runner, which was an uncounterable answer. So I think they misplayed that, frankly. Which card do I want to keep around? I think at this point in the game, Bowmaster is going to be pretty potent. DRC doesn't do a lot, so I'll keep this just in case like they waste me here. Don't want to get wasted. Come on, force again. You know you want to stop this Merc. You know you want to stop the Merc. All right, it's a 6/6. But unfortunately, they stick a Lord and we're pretty dead. True Name also is pretty powerful if they find it. Harbinger is not actually that big of a deal. This is uncounterable, but this makes their subsequent creatures counterable, thankfully. Okay, they don't have good attacks, so I'm just going to have to hit them a lot here. I do have cards I can cast. Snuff Out. I'm never going to be able to use that, unfortunately. Let's see. What could I find? I could find another Merc. I think I'm actually going to just chill and do it in the end step here. So I attack for 6. Then they take 3. Yeah, I have to find another Merc, and that has to happen next turn. So I'm just going to get more information, but I am going to start attacking them. Okay, and now they attack for 3 at least. And I have to stop whatever they do. But yeah, the best draw in my deck is absolutely just Merc. So I'll take these. I can't cast anything. Like, this is just GG against my deck, basically. It's really strong. Tideshaper. This is 2 additional power. They're down to 1 card. I'm going to go ahead and force it. It sucks, but like I'm going to lose, frankly, if I don't find another Merc. Like, that's just how the game is. And yeah, that would stop me from being able to potentially win. So there is like a chance that like I reveal Merc, but I don't have the ability to play it. I think I do want to wait and see one more card, though. I can't shuffle it away, but... Okay, let's brainstorm. Show me the Murktide, please. We don't see the Murktide. None of these cards do anything. I can make a land drop. Let's make the land drop. I mean, I could draw like a Ponder here. Let's try it. Okay, they're going to try to stop this. Ah, that sucks. We're done on board. Yeah, like there's nothing I can find here, unfortunately. I'll go ahead and look at what it would have been, though. Yeah, that was a good card to have as their last card. Good game. Okay, so let's go to game 3. Again, like these are 3 very unfavorable matchups in a row. What we want to be playing against are probably like combo decks and stuff. Tempo generally does well against combo. I really don't like Daze on the play when they have Cavern, but I think it's a necessary evil. And I think I'm going to bring back in Brazen Borrower just because it could like bounce that out of play and do some stuff. So what cards are we cutting? Well, I mean, there's an argument for cutting Snuff Out. I mean, like they're an aggro deck. It was pretty bad there, especially if they turn off our swamps. Yeah, I think I'm fine with this. And then we need to cut a land or something. It's not going to be a land. I think I'll just cut a Bowmaster. Yeah, let's do it. All right, so we just need to be aggressive here. Get a aggressive Moonshadow hand, I think. This is not going to work. No lands. This is okay. So this is, I'll put back Bolt and I'll just Ponder to try to find land number 2. And then we have Wasteland for their Cavern. And we try to get to Merc as quickly as possible. I think this is a shuffle. I'm really just looking for land. Daze is not bad, but if they just waste me here, the game's over. Okay, no play. All right, that is Moonshadow. I think we do Moonshadow here. And then we Bowmaster next turn. And we can always make this bigger by targeting our own land if we absolutely need to, but that would be embarrassing. Hopefully that won't come to pass. The reason I didn't Bowmaster there is they don't have any card draw on their deck. Like this is a removal spell effectively. Oh, wow. That's so good for us. I'm going to just Daze it. Then I don't have to... Yeah, I'll just Daze here. I do want to keep this around. And if they force, that's great. Okay, they don't. Okay, second island. So that's not a wasteland, but I think they have the one that takes away the abilities. So that could block. That would be embarrassing. I think I shouldn't have played that out. Wait, I just played out the land that I already had. I don't think I attack here because I think they have the one that takes the abilities, and then that'll kill in combat. So I'm just going to let their mana go to waste. I don't need the damage. Okay, and they didn't use it. I could be wrong, but like 1 damage is not worth the risk. And next turn I'll have Wasteland, so at least I could like make it a 3/3 if absolutely necessary. Okay, so unfortunately I can't do anything while this is coming out. I can only do it next turn. So now they have uncounterable Merfolk. Tide Shaper. I can't do anything about this. They can make my Wasteland an island. They are targeting that. That's fine. Do I want to just... I think I just want to go ahead and cast this so it's out there. I'll ping... And then, yeah. Okay, now that's an island. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and waste here. I shouldn't... Again, I screwed up and I played my land before I decided what I could have done. Because I could have found like a Pyroblast here, but I am definitely wasting here. No doubt about that. I could waste my own island. And then this is small and I get extra triggers. And this will most likely die in combat. That seems like a really dumb idea, frankly. Let's go ahead and ponder here. This force is actually pretty appetizing considering we have a pretty strong board presence. And then we could just draw, yeah. And then I could just draw the ponder next turn. They might waste my island. I kind of, like, in case they waste it, I'm just going to go ahead and shuffle now. Okay, and so that's where I like, that was a total error me playing the Wasteland out because I could have, like, Pyroblasted this. But I will attack for 2, unblockable, assuming they don't have the ability to take the ability away, which it doesn't look like they do. Okay. And next turn, we have a very powerful sideboard card online. And we have 2 chump blockers. So I don't need to necessarily draw another black source. I did trim the snuff outs. Another one. Okay, well, luckily I can waste it. But if this is like True Name or something, it's going to be pretty catastrophic. Okay, that's great. I'm actually totally fine with that at this point in the game. Okay. And of course, like obligatory, you always wait till your turn after you've drawn to see what you draw before you attempt to waste. There's no benefit to like wasting before the end of the turn. Okay, so here we are not that far from Delirium. I think I go ahead and play this out and then I can trigger it with a Brainstorm. Okay, let's go ahead and Brainstorm here because any triggers we get put cards into the graveyard from Moonshadow. That goes in the yard. Yeah, I'm going to put that in the yard. I've already got an answer to a subsequent spell. And then I can put Merc in the yard. I think it's fine. I've got lots of creatures out. I can waste. So I can put Pyroblast on there. And then I'll put Merc in the yard, which will give me Delirium. Right? Yeah, that'll give me Delirium. I mean, the Bobble will give me Delirium too, but I don't really need to draw the Merc here. Actually, Merc is not bad. Let's think about this. Daze might be bad now that they have this out. Yeah, I think I'm going to... I'll just Bobble to put Daze in the yard. Okay, now this grows. So we'll lose his ability if they do the thing to me. So this goes in the yard. Let's go ahead and see what's on top of their deck. All right, we have Delirium. They have Force on top. That's fine. They will maybe attempt to force my Murktide. Okay, so we have a 4/4. They could like take the abilities away and double block, but I don't think that's a good move. I think most likely flip it around. Okay, they're just going to do it now. That's fine. If they have a Lord, we are in trouble, even though we're at 20 life. Yeah, this is fine. They have it out of commission for 2 attack steps, but unless they have a Lord, they're not going to be able to attack through. But they likely do. I mean, that's the most common thing they're going to have in their deck. So here we draw Pyroblast, which can clear the Lord next turn. And this can still grow even though it's stunned, and it'll be a 7/7. Oh, another Cavern. What the heck? I guess it's not that bad, though, because I wasn't going to fight on the stack anyway. I just need to remove stuff. But they can absolutely use the one that takes away the abilities, Merfolk Trickster, to basically eat a free lunch with my Dragon Rage Channeler. So what I'll do, I'll wait till that happens, and then I will Pyroblast whatever they're using to block. Which would probably just be Tide Shaper. Okay, they don't have good attacks. All right, and they pass. That's great for me. All right, so Moonshadow's kind of starting to wake up. A land would give me Merc here. Yep, that's a Merc. I think I want to go to combat first, and then I can Merc after combat. Because they may like have a excess land in their hand and not be able to force. We know they have force. So I will go to combat here, and then what we're going to do is just blast whatever blocks this, because I think they're going to flash that thing in. Merfolk Trickster. Okay, Merfolk Trickster comes into play. With this ability on the stack before blocks, I could go ahead and blast. And then they won't, yeah, they could just block with Tide Shaper. So sadly, I think I have to give up on the Surveil trigger in the name of, you know what? I think I just let her go, and then I Murktide, and then I Pyroblast their force. I think it's better. So I could have, in theory, just Murktided and kept that around. So I think I punted. Okay, they are double blocking. So my play of blasting one of them wouldn't have worked anyway. My opponent is playing very well. Okay, so this grows. And now, I was so close to clicking through. Let's Merc here, and we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Blue. Okay, and we've got a giant dude. Bowmasters hasn't done anything obvious, but it has. Okay, and then we have exactly the card that we need here. And now they have to Miracle Top Deck, basically, to race our 8/8. And they're 12. And this will wake up. So they're like basically dead on board. Like, I don't know how they race us. They'll need something miraculous. They need Sink Into Super, which is good, but I will be able to put a 5/5 out. Okay, that's not going to do it. So we win. I'm pretty sure we win here. Yeah, we got the GGs. GGs. All right, we're on the board. Finally, see you in round 4. Right. Round 4. Unknown opponent. We're on the draw. I like this double snuff out. Unfortunately, because we don't have a Badlands, and we wouldn't want to get a Badlands anyway because we have Daze, we're not going to be able to immediately use this, but I do like the DRC Bobble. I'm not going to put that back ever. DRC Bobble is like the best thing you can do turn 1. It's so powerful. Basic Island. Tommy. That's also a very powerful spell. I am definitely tempted to just ponder to find another land and Snuffer. Let's go ahead and do that. And I'll just go ahead and snuff before I tap in case they have Daze. Yeah, this is one of the reasons this card is so insane right now. Is like I'm just going to clear it for 0 mana, and then I'm going to move on about my day. And if you want to force that, you are welcome to. I will just snuff it again. I won't even Daze. I'll just snuff it again. Is that safe? They might. Okay, yeah, that probably wouldn't have been smart, actually. I probably do want to hold this for a Murktide later. So there we go. Double Moonshadow. And so we're going to have Moonshadow and DRC next turn, and we can do a bobble. So I'll take the land now so they don't get to see the Moonshadow if they dot sees me, if they're on blue-black. Yeah, so next turn, we're going to play a Moonshadow. We're going to play Dragon Rage Channel. We're going to bobble. All that stuff is going to happen without any interruption, right? They're not, no way they're going to date. Oh, they're on Prismatic Vista. A player after my own heart. This is my card. This is me. This card represents like the entire kind of like no reserve list ethos that I've thrown to the wind with my fancy dark, Underground Sea Volcanic Island deck here. So I suspect they're on blue-white. They could be on my blue-black list that I played in Tokyo. That list is still okay. It's not like phenomenal. It might actually be better than it used to be. Okay, so here I think we do snuff out again, but I am a little bit worried because we're starting to wade into. But I'll have DRC out, so it'll be okay, and I will have the days up. Yeah, I think it's fine. All right, so let's go ahead and do this. Black Moonshadow. We're gonna get every Moonshadow trigger here. I don't think they play Daze in their Prismatic Vista deck unless they're playing maybe the mono blue control type list. So now I'm going to get my first trigger and get my Volk. This is basically what I was hoping would happen when I put the list together, that like there'd be situations like this. Of course, that I would already have the DRC in play from turn 1 or the Moonshadow. But like you get these two into play and good things just happen. It's pretty phenomenal. All things just get better and better. So this is definitely a Daze if they have it. You would not want to let this resolve. That would be a horrendous mistake if you had anything else you could do about it. This is going to resolve. Moonshadow number 2 goes to the yard. Gives me Delirium. After I crack this bubble, I think I will. What's their top card? Prismatic Ending. Okay, well, they don't have white. I think with Prismatic Ending... I need to clear this. I think I'm going to go ahead and snuff. And we're just going to put as many permanents as we can into the yard here. Murktide, get in the yard. That grows the Moonshadow. We're not going to need any more permanents, assuming we can defend from Prismatic Vista, which I will force to defend. Okay, this is a Daze. And unfortunately, we're almost certainly going to lose Moonshadow here. Yeah, I'll put the Underground Sea in my hand at this point. Yeah. Okay, this is actually like a decent backup threat now. Let's think about this. No, it doesn't do that much. Let's see, we've got 1, 2, we've got Ponder, Snuff Out. We've got another Snuff Out. Yeah, this is actually going to stay on the top. Yeah, and I'll do this if they clear one of our threats. And it also pitches to Force. So this means our Moonshadow will not grow any further, but it has gotten quite stout here. All right, and now we just pass with like pretty killer board. If they don't have a white source, we're in a very good position. We could force to protect. That's fine. I'm happy to see them. And by the way, both turns that we've removed the Tomio, they brainstormed immediately afterward. Right? So they're looking for a white source. I think what I do is I just force and I just smush. I'm just going to force this and I'm going to smush. Even if they murk, I can race it. I've got a freaking... It'll soon be 7-7. They scoop to that. Wow! That was oppressive. Okay. So here, Pyroblast get in the deck. I think Thoughtseize is good in this matchup. So when I say this matchup, I'm not sure exactly what I'm playing against, but I think I'm playing against some Jeskai variant. I'm just going to assume that. We didn't see red, but usually red is in the deck, but it doesn't matter because Pyroblast is kind of unplayable right now, unfortunately. It's a card dear to my heart, but it's not very good right now. I think Brazen Borrow comes out. Molten Collapse, like, they're not going to be playing Carpet. I don't think we need this. I think we just stop Merc on the stack if that's what they're playing. They're probably playing Riddler, but Bowmaster is very good against Riddler. I think on the draw, I do want to get my Dazes out. I think I just reduce on Daze, but we've gone so low on blue cards. I think I want to pull the Dazes completely and just bring in a Force Negation. And then I'm going to use... Is that correct? No. This can kill Tomio. This is getting back in the deck. Okay, and then... Cut that. I mean, I could have cut Wastelands. I'm actually going to cut some Wastelands. I didn't see any non-basics, and they know I'm a Delver deck, so they're probably going to be actively trying to avoid getting non-basics, but like, who knows? Maybe they just have those 3 non-basics, and... No, I think I'm going to take out all my Wastelands. That may seem completely bonkers. I totally understand if you don't feel comfortable going down to functionally having a 14 land deck. My opponent is probably playing back to basics. They are probably not playing Wastelands. Or they might be playing Ruination, but Wasteland doesn't help with that. Ruination is a sweet card, by the way. Force is coming in, and then Fatal Push does deal with Tomio, and they might have the Otter. I don't like it here. I'd actually rather have Dazes than Wastes. I know that sounds counterintuitive. You're on the draw. Like, why would you want Dazes? No, I think I'm going to bring in Fatal Push just out of respect for Tomio and probably Felia. Yeah. Okay. All right. Doing some extreme sideboarding here. 14 land deck. Never didn't have it. Unfortunately, though, we have to choose which child. I think we want black here. We'll see where the winds take us, but I'm keeping this. This is a force effect, which is pretty good. If they Tamio, then I'll just snuff. I'm not going to take my chances with her. And I can't wait and snuff during the upkeep, unfortunately, because then they could brainstorm in response. Because I would like to have force negation in case they force my snuff. This is exciting, though. Ponder's fine. That is not Tamio. I am extremely overjoyed about that. I do kind of wish I had Badlands in the deck. I think that is something that I'm going to consider doing, going up to 19 land and putting a Badlands in the deck, because it would be cool to be able to DRC and have Snuff Out up. And I think, yeah. And also against, oh, that's so sweet. What a draw. Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and jam the DRC here. And I don't have anything to do with her, but that's fine. Like, hopefully I can. Yeah, I definitely have back to basics top of mind here, because that's precisely what I would be playing if I were playing their deck. I'd like slam back to basics into the deck. All right, it's in. Next turn we'll have Snuff Out, and Bowmasters, our best card in our deck against them, most likely. So if they just warp or something, it's not a big deal. I'll let them get the cards. If they have Tamio plus Tamio flip, I have the Brainstorm to stop the flip, but Bowmasters also just pins Tamio pretty hard. Okay, what are they going to do here? I think they may be prismatic ending this, which is unfortunate, but it's acceptable. I don't think do we force to protect this? I actually do think I'm going to force to protect it. Yeah, and the card I'll force with is Brainstorm. And they may have Spell Pierce here, but I'm getting some value. One Collapse can go to the yard to give us Delirium in case we get out of this alive. Okay, wow. That's great. All right. Murktide is pretty cool if this gets removed. Options include, I think the best option is to go ahead and ponder first. And that hopefully puts something in the yard that gives us Delirium. I think we need to keep that. That's too good of a card in the matchup. All right, and then this is land number 2. I haven't played a land yet. Yeah, I think I actually... do I want the Brainstorm? The Brainstorm's not bad. Don't get me wrong. I'm just sad that I'm not going to achieve Delirium here. The Pyroblast is so good. I definitely want to keep it. I don't really need this third land, though. I think I'm going to shuffle and just see if I get lucky and spike like a Moonshadow or something. Okay, another Ponder actually might do it here, and I will just Ponder willy-nilly into just for a shot at getting Delirium so I can do some damage. This goes in the yard. So we are stacking our graveyard here. Oh, this is very good. I'll take the Force Negation this turn, and then I have Force Negation, pitch Murktide. Thoughtseize is going to be good. I'll definitely want to do that. I'll do that next turn. This is fine. And even though we're only hitting for 1, it's not the end of the world. Could I have stacked that to where we could get Delirium? I don't think I could have. We just didn't see any creatures or artifacts. I wasn't going to shuffle away a Force Negation. At this point, I know it's not going to get Delirious. I think it's fine. And then we just have Murktide. And what are we drawing? Are we drawing a fetch land? We're drawing Thoughtseize. I'll Thoughtseize to clear the path, and then I can Murk. Brainstorm is fine. They get in under the Bowmasters. I think Thoughtseize is going to be pretty important here, and then I can I can't Bowmasters I can't Thoughtseize and Bowmasters because I'm drawing the Thoughtseize and I don't have the second land. I do want to Thoughtseize sooner rather than later, though. They're getting a pretty perfect Thoughtseize over there, and then I just take the removal, and then I think I just try to protect the Queen. This is going to be a really big Murk here, but I need to remove, like, they have Supreme Verdict or something like that. Okay, they're fetching here. I think they're just going to Brainstorm again and hide a removal spell. They might hide back to basics if they have it. That would be crushing. Well, Minor Misstep is a great card. Kudos to my opponent for playing great cards. I love that card. I don't think it's great right now, which is why I don't play it in any of my decks, but it is it's great against Delver for sure. Like, our entire deck is 1-drop, so except for this very spicy 2-drop that we're going to deploy next turn, hopefully. But I'll probably we're drawing a land. I will deploy this first, and that way I can protect this with this and maybe get a win that way. Okay, so I don't know what they're holding up over there, but I presume it's Felia. So I'm just going to chill with like 3 mana up to force of negate something if absolutely necessary. But I think this is probably Felia, and I can just snuff her. Oh, they didn't have Felia. Okay. Thunder Trap is fine. I'm going to just wait and try to get an opportune Bowmasters. They've only used one of their Brainstorms. The card revealed is nothing. They whiffed. That does happen. Yeah, they whiffed. That's so good for us. So unfortunately, my Bowmaster doesn't do anything here, but it might draw a plow. Sometimes people get too jumpy with the plow. They're like, oh, insta plow it. And you should never do that, by the way. But sometimes they will. We might get a panic brainstorm here. Okay, it's fine. But I don't want them to plow my Merc. Okay, yeah, and we're getting the panic plow here. I don't think there's any reason to plow right now, unless they have stifle. They could be stifling or consigning, but I don't think that's worth doing here. They're down to 2 cards, which is great. That Thunder Trap whiffing was just what the doctor ordered. Okay, this is the Panic Plow, and now Murktide is going to rock you like a hurricane. We do get a dude. It's just a dude that can't attack with this Thunder Trap trainer, which, I mean, look at this guy. Is he wearing like suspenders or something? Like, how humiliating. You can't take this guy. Come on, Orc Army. Well, this is the Mickey Mouse, version of it. My goodness. Okay, so we're drawing wild. We didn't resolve our Thoughtseize, so we don't know what's in their hand. We could draw a blue card here. If I brainstorm, like I can get rid of the snuff out. Oh, that's so good. That's so good. All right. Well, we're going to try this. And hopefully they don't have yet another plow since they just used like 2 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh man, I accidentally tapped for red and now I have to do the whole thing again. Blue. I've got 16 minutes. I'm not too worried about clock, but it can be a concern. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't have any way of replaying cards from my graveyard, so it's totally fine. I'll leave a Ponder in there, which is a sorcery, and then I'll just pass. I've got an 8/8. They're on a 2-turn clock. If they have Hydroblast, I can Pyroblast it. I don't have any other way of interacting, though, unfortunately. They could have Riddler. Wait, never mind. Never mind. I'm going to fight this on the stack. All right. Is your last card another minor misstep? Wow. Okay. They may still have a plow. Oh, they're fetching. Even if they back to basics here, it's not necessarily a death because they have to find a solution in the next 2 turn cycles. This might be Pyroblast. But like, why wouldn't they have fought back on the stack with Pyroblast if they had it? Flame Manure. That does draw them 2 cards. It's a very... Wait. So if I'd known this was coming, I could have snuffed this. It didn't occur to me that people still played this card. It sucks. But unfortunately, it's going to win. Okay, Prismatic Vista. Did they find a plow? Oh, they're cracking. They're going to go get a Plains and plow. That sucks. Oh, Mountain. Is this Pyro? Yeah, so if I'd snuffed out there, like it may seem counterintuitive, but that would have been the game. Like, I think we would have easily won there because they wouldn't have been able to get 2 cards. Well, they would have been able to get 2 cards. They just wouldn't have been able to also kill our dude. Okay, so I think sadly I do want to kill this just in case they do it again. Like that feels so bad. So bad, but it is correct. Like if they just natty rip that, I guess it doesn't matter when I don't have anything out. Come on, cast a cantrip. All right, I'm going to go ahead and do this and just start hitting them. Like they only have 13 life. We might be able to get there. They may have Hardcast Force here. Okay. All right, and we don't have any way of getting ahead in cards, so we just have to get lucky, and they have them not get lucky. If that makes sense. So Bolt is good, but I have to hold up Force Negation here. Yeah, that felt really bad, but actually that snuff out was necessary if I wanted to be able to start connecting with the Bowmasters anyway. Okay. And that card is terrible against Bowmasters because you draw before you do the damage. So it like triggers twice on the way out. It's great. I hope that happens so I can show you that it's a terrible card because I genuinely believe it is. I'm going to attack. I think I'm going to hold up Brainstorm. Yeah, I'm just going to keep the adaptability here. Because I don't want to tap out a force negation. If I can force negate, hard cast for force negation, I'll feel really good. Hopefully they have like Lorien Revealed and stuff like that in their hand. Okay. They could have another Snappy, which would be devastating. I'm going to go ahead and bobble and just see what they're drawing. And again, like this may seem overly demure, like cast your Brainstorm. You might have like a Merc on top or something, DRC. And maybe I am being overly demure. I'm going to go ahead and attack first. And then I think I am going to try here. I don't think they have Flash Thread in exactly Snapcaster, but usually that's like a one of. Uh-oh. I said usually it's a one of, and they have that. All right, I'm going to let them attempt to... Gosh, this sucks because I want to force the removal spell, but then they'll just block it. What are they going to do? Are they going to Flame of Manure? Oh, no! I shouldn't have let this go on the stack because they Flame of Manure. They get the cards. Okay. Well, I will just... Gosh, yeah, I'm still going to die in combat, but I will keep my body, and I'll take their body out. Do I want to bolt there? I guess I could Brainstorm and yeah, it's going to get it. I guess what I want to do is I want to wait and see if they block and then I can Brainstorm. I mean, I could Brainstorm and find a blue card. No, I could find exactly Force of Will and Snuff Out. I'm going to try it. I could also find a Bowmaster's number 2, which would be good. And then they would never have a window where they could do anything. Okay, they have a Pyro for that. Okay, so that works. This works. I think I want to... Are they going to let me connect? I could just bolt this and they take 1 and we don't have to worry about this body and they don't have a wizard anymore. I think that's correct. It's sad, but I think it is correct. Because this could grow if I find another Bowmaster later. I don't think we're going to win this game. So we get our card. It was just a bobble, but we would have gotten 2 other looks. They're pondering here. They can find like 4th Aerolingus. They can find lots of scary stuff here. I don't have a 4th Aerolingus covered because I decided to Brainstorm, but they would have Pyroed. So it's not like I was going to get through. Like Force Negation wasn't going to stop 4th Aerolingus anyway. But that is their KO card that they usually use to win. But they could like find like Wizard plus Flame of Manure, or they could have like Snapcaster number 3. Snapcaster is a very good card in these dirtily matchups where like the Delver deck has failed to close. Okay, that's good. Please play out lands. Oh no. No! All right, I can't stop it. I might be able to win if I find exactly Bowmaster soon, but I'm taking a lot of damage here. And they get an extra card. Catastrophic. All right. My son is here. He's eating ice cream. He just wants to watch. He has not asked to learn how to play Magic the Gathering yet. Okay, they're at 6. Why fetch there? Oh, just a thin, I guess. All right. So this is a pretty bad situation. We don't have... Actually, we do have a pretty good play here. So I'm going to go ahead and just see what their top card is. Drawing a Tamio, which is not good for me. I do want to take this out and get the Monarch so I can at least get another... I'll do a damage to them in the process, and maybe I find a blue card off the Monarch or off this Bobble. But they're just going to hit me for 4 and take it right back here. Unless if I drew... I can't actually think of anything I could draw here. So we drew a Ponder, and now we draw another card. Force. Okay, Force stops Tamio, and I think that has to happen, sadly. Oh no, what are they doing here? Thunder Trap Trainer with... so this has to be stopped. I'm going to counter this. And then I will have Ponder to try to deliver me from evil here. Okay, so that would have gotten like a bunch of bodies and a bunch of cards. So they are going to get the Monarch back. But I can take it back next turn, assuming they don't find a Plow here. They may already have a Plow. No, they're going to probably take Tamio here. And now I have to find an answer to Tamio. Wait, have they already drawn any cards? I don't think they flipped Tamio here in the end step. No, that would be nice if that happened. Okay, so that was a dud. I need a Brainstorm to clear that. Let's Ponder, and then we're probably just going to be conceding here. Brainstorm, thoughts. Yeah, we need something that actually kills Tamio. Good game. We're too far behind. Okay, that was brutal. All right. Game 3. I didn't miss the wastelands, but they did have some wastable lands there. We're on the play. It might make sense to bring a couple of them back in, just in case our opponent. I mean, this is an answer for like those tokens. It is a potential win con. It can bounce Tamio back to hand. Is it better than Molten Collapse against their deck that... I mean, this does clear Tamio and a creature, but like when are they going to have both of those? I think I'm not... I am going to bring in some dazes. And I'm not sure that I want that. You know what? I'm going to take out the Fatal Pushes. They weren't that great. We didn't see Felia, which was what I thought might be in their deck. We're just going to aggressively mull to a Moonshadow DRC type hand. And we're going to try to do that. Snuff Out has been fine against Tamio. Like, it's fine. It's not setting the world on fire. I think Molten Collapse would be better served as just another daze. And if we're bringing that many dazes, we do have to ask, like, should we be bringing in Wasteland? I think I could take out Force Negation. That didn't do a lot there. And I think I could bring in some Wastelands. And these will really just be spells, is how I look at them. I'm trying to think if there's anything else we can do, any other substitutions. I like the bolts just because the game could come close. But then do we need the Snuff Outs? Because we have Pyroblast and bolts to deal with Tamio. I think I'm going to take the Snuff Outs out and I'm going to bring in a Wasteland and a Daze. And we're going to play all 4 dazes. This may seem crazy, but like the game is not going to... Like that was a long game and we got destroyed because it was a long game. I think this is a mulligan. This is fine. It's not phenomenal. I'll just open... I'll put back the bolt, I think. No, I mean, I might run into Tamio and I took out my Snuff Outs. I could just take out the Force of Will on the draw and just be more aggro. I think the cards that we need to force are later in the game. I'm going to see if I can get away with doing this. I'm going to go ahead and ponder first just to see if I find Moonshadow because then I can hold my bubble. I don't like these. I'm going to any order shuffle these. I'm trying to find a land here. All right, that's great. We don't know that we're drawing a land. I just want to get deeper into my deck and get closer to Delirium if I do find DRC. All right, they're drawing a fetch. So, like, I don't think Wasteland's going to be impactful here because they're drawing a fetch, and where Wasteland really shines in these... Oh, that's bad. So we can brainstorm and put one of those away. We won't be able to Bowmaster this turn cycle. All right, let's see. Okay, that's great. That's exactly what we want to see here. So I think we just chill, and then we can do an end-step brainstorm or Bowmaster, whichever the situation calls for. But I think it would be like we're definitely representing Bowmaster hard here. Okay, they fetch. It's fine. This is probably just the Otter. It's fine. I think I'm just going to brainstorm and then I'll bolt him so they don't have a wizard. They are going to get a card here, which just further cements the need to be aggressive here. They're not going to whiff a second time. It's unlikely they whiff. It's like maybe like 20% of the time or less. Okay, they get a Pyroblast. That's very good. Okay. So what I'm going to try to do is just win by stacking Bowmasters here. Let's brainstorm. Okay, this is good. I can put this away. I just ramp out my black threats. I actually want to put this away too. I don't need any more lands. I'm going to fetch a Volk. Then I'm going to bolt this. And now we have double Bowmasters up. If we draw a blue card, we can defend it, which would be great. Draw Pyroblast, which is not bad. I think I'm going to go ahead and drop this. And then I have Pyroblast up. And then this is pretty puny. But like if they cast like a Tamio or something, we can try to fight it on the stack. So their card is Pyroblast, but they don't have red mana yet. And if they get red mana, I could maybe waste them off it. But the priority is wasting them off white mana for sure. This is fine. All right. Okay, Murktide. No, they have the Pyroblast and they could just play it. I'm just going to chill. Unfortunately, I'll use Murktide to pitch the Force if I feel like I have a window where I'm not going to Pyroblast it back. They're fetching. Okay, and they have Pyroblast up, unfortunately. So I am going to go ahead and do this. And they'll be forced to bounce this back to hand, but they won't get a chance to like we know they have a pyro and they can go get a pyro, unfortunately. So there's not a good situation where like we can pyroblast this next turn if they plus it. I think that's actually the line because I don't want it on the table, but at the same time, I think they're going to plus unless they have a Tomio to defend her. Okay, so now we can pyro this and then they'll probably have to force, and we can't force back, unfortunately, but we can attack in. That's such a great draw. So let's go ahead and do this. Pyro this. And then if this survives, I can just double, like I'll Bowmaster and I'll smush. Okay. Now I am going to just play this. I know that they can do disgusting things to our creatures, but I just don't feel like I have a good window. I need to kill them. They may have a sweeper. That is a possibility, but I need to get this extra damage and end the game. And we know Merc's not going to do it. We just have to wait till they tap out. Like if they get greedy and tap out a Pyroblast and suddenly Force is back online, I'm having a great time, even though I'm sure I'm misplaying. And I hope the good people of the channel are leaving comments with timestamps, pointing out my misplays. Please get greedy. Please do something greedy. I mean, the fact that they're fetching there, maybe they have 4th Aerolingus. Oh no, they're being too... Oh, Wrath of the Skies! And we know they have the Pyro. I'm going to go ahead and force. I don't think they would have shuffled away, but like the game's over, unfortunately. I didn't even think about this card. Yeah, good game. Yeah, good games. Well played, Ito. Final round, we're up against a combo gamer, which is what we want to be playing against. I don't like this hand though. So they play the Epic Gamble, they play the Epic Storm, like all the different epic ones. I don't like the fact that we're doing nothing here. Like I want to have something. I want to pressure them somehow. This is better. It's not great. Keep this. I'm going to put back Ponder because I'm not looking for anything specific now. You know, I'll just bobble them. And then, yeah, we'll see what they're up to over there. Okay, Shatters. So they could be on Moonstompy, but most likely, like if they're on Moonstompy, it's a disaster. That's a terrible matchup for us. But they're most likely on like Ruby Storm. I don't know. Ruby Storm. I don't think Ruby Storm actually plays that card. I think they're most likely on Moonstompy, unfortunately. Oh, Moonshadow in the house. I could stick that and waste them, and that would be an okay turn. And then I have Daze on. Okay, they're just passing. That's good. I am going to do what I just said. I'm not going to brainstorm in the end step. I'll save that for later. Okay, DRC is potentially very good. So I'm going to go ahead and Moonshadow. I'm going to waste them. Because we're not sure if Orcish Bowmaster is actually going to be good against them. We don't quite know what we're up against yet. But waste and daze are usually good against most decks. Okay, the Petal. So they are on some sort of combo deck most likely. Okay, Brainstorm. I'm going to let that resolve. That I will daze something later. Like ideally, LED, they just scooped to that. Interesting. Okay, well, they don't know a lot about my deck, but here's what we're going to do. Thoughtseizes get in the deck. Force Negation get in the deck. Consign get in the deck. Pyroblast probably is good. And then I will take out my Snuff Outs. I will take out my Bolts. I just don't think they're going to have anything to target with those. I'll keep my Dazes in. Molten Collapse can probably come out. I'll be stunned if they have a fair juke. We have literally one card to deal with fair juke. I'm not actually sure that Pyroblast is great against what they're likely on, I mean, it's probably better than Moonshadow. Yeah, it's probably better than Moonshadow. So DRC like gives us card quality. Moonshadow just closes, and it's not blue to pitch to force. I think I'm going to cut 3 of them. Grafdigger's Cage can stop Echo Vions. We might bring it in based on like what we learned from the next game. Same thing with Meltdown. If we see like Urza Saga, we'll bring that in. But I like this because DRC and Bowmaster can close, and if we get lucky, Moonshadow can close. Murktide and Brazen Bar most likely just get pitched to force. But if they have a construct plan, Brazen Bar is pretty good there. Okay, this is too many lands. I'm going to mulligan. I think they're going to try to go for something to generate here. This is also just tragically not going to work. They've also mulled to 5. I'm going to keep a force hand, or this double Thoughtseize hand. I think is probably okay if they don't turn 1 us. They're mulling to 4. I am going to trust. I mean, they could just have the combo to shuffle everything. So I have to put back 2 cards. I think I put back Bowmaster because DRC can come out sooner. No, they're different colors. I'm going to put back DRC because I'm on a 3-color deck. And then I'll just Thoughtseize, and then hopefully I'll draw land. If I don't, I can Ponder and then Thoughtseize again. Yeah, I'm going to basically be on Underground Seas for this matchup. They mulled to 3. Again, if they just 2, okay. I think we're watching an implosion in real time here. I don't see how they win off 2 cards. The 2 cards would have to be LED and Echo of Eons. Okay, no play. All right, so let's go ahead and crack open their hand over there. We can't Thoughtseize the top of their deck. They could draw good stuff even though they mulled that deep. And they are an explosive combo hand. Yeah, so we just take the LED. Yeah, they just scooped to that. Okay, that was a 2-3. Yeah, they sometimes, like I said, we want to be up against combo, and we finally got our combo matchup at the end after a whole bunch of fair matchups. So let's talk about the deck. Frankly, I just think it's the mana's too hard. You can put a Badlands in. Let's go ahead and do the Badlands. And that does make the mana a little bit better. Did we go against Chalice? I think we did. Like Eldrazi schooled us with Chalice. Molten Collapse is good against that exact card. And I do think that Grixis Delver, back when it was played more frequently, it would have one of these main deck. So I don't want to cut that. We could go down to 2 Mercs. It felt like that was rarely the issue, but the problem is our blue count is atrocious. We're currently looking at a 20 blue cards. And for reference, like most of my decks, I try to get like 26, 28. Like I really don't like having low blue counts. And we did struggle against the Jeskai Wizards deck because our blue count was low. We were like drawing mismatch cards. So one thing we could consider doing here is just putting one of these snuff outs on the board. Probably go down to like 1 meltdown. Yeah. I mean, snuff out was so freaking golden though. It's so good. And I think like the real build that you should be playing, frankly, is just blue-black tempo. I know everybody plays that. It's boring. It's been very good for like 3 or 4 years at this point. But that gets to exploit snuff out, and then you don't have to worry about like the color splash. If you want to watch me do blue-black tempo, I will happily do it. I've just done it so much, and my concern is like people may have watched it so much, but if you're one of the people that really wants to watch blue-black tempo, let me know. I will play more tempo decks, although I think they're poorly positioned right now because I think aggro is king right now, and tempo is not very good against aggro, as we saw against the Eldrazi matchup. Like in theory, it shouldn't be that rough, but it was pretty rough. Maybe if we were just on a traditional Delver deck, we wouldn't have to worry so much, but like Chalice is brutal against our deck. So I don't want to cut down on Moonshadow because that's the reason for having the deck, but we could cut down on Moonshadow. Like she's really good exactly when she's paired with DRC. DRC is way better of a card than Moonshadow, so maybe it's like a 3 Moonshadow deck. That doesn't feel right though. The other option is we take out, I don't want to touch any of the blue cards. We could go down to just 2 Bowmaster. I think that's totally reasonable. So I think that's the actual change you make. But then if you look at it like, okay, we just reduced our mana cost pretty significantly. I just don't think the Badlands belongs, frankly. I think you have to make it work with 18 lands. So I think the list that I played is actually how you're supposed to build it. If you are a seasoned like tempo veteran and you disagree with that observation, please let me know. But I think this is where I'm going to leave it. I don't recommend playing 3-color tempo right now. You don't have to. Even if you look at like the blue, red, green versions, like they are very lightly splashing green. They have like a single trap to cast their questing druid, right? I do think that if you play Delver, I'll show you the Delver list that I got from True Tempo. Very cool channel on YouTube. I want to play his exact list. Let me get that. All right, so here's his list. I just directly imported it from Moxfield, so the fetches and stuff are like new versions, and it's got the non-canon Volcanic Island. But let's take a look at the list. So basically, it's a Boomerang Basics list, which obviously, if you've watched my channel at all, you've seen the brewing that I've done around this card. I'm very impressed with it. Stormchaser's Talents. So 3 Boomerang Basics, 4 Stormchaser's Talents. That means you don't have to play Brazen Borrower, and that's nice because Brazen Borrower doesn't go to your graveyard where it's beneficial for achieving Delirium or feeding Murktide. It is a great backup threat, but you don't need to do that. Like really, this only has 7 creatures, and it has the 3 DRC or the 4 DRC and the 3 Murktide. And then you've got Cutter. You got 3 of those. You've got the 4 Stormchaser Talents. So you're going really wide with constructs, or not constructs, but tokens. And then you have Bobble, which is insane, and it doesn't really matter because you're not playing Delver. You don't have to meet some instant and sorcery quota. So it gives you so much flexibility. I think he trophied with this too. Now, granted, he just plays tempo. That's all he plays. And Curdy, I think, also primarily just plays tempo. I try to play like a lot of different decks, like aggro, tempo, and control. I don't play combo generally, but because he's a dedicated player, he has a lot of insight into what a good list would feel like, right? And we went back and forth. Like he was playing. I talked him into playing an extra consign and an extra force. Because he was playing 2 surgicals, and I just don't think surgical helps against oops, and it doesn't really help anywhere else right now. So it's hard to get old tempo players to let go of their surgical. It's the most overboarded card in human history, I think, and legacy history. But he said that he's cool with me playing these. I wanted to play, I wanted to get his blessing on the list, so I'll play this list. But basically, Pyroclasm for the token matchups, that's some really cool kind of crab frying art there. And then Hexing Squelcher, of course, the most annoying new card in the set. I'm not looking forward to playing against this in all those different Storm combo decks, but we can do that. And then, 2 Unholy Heats to deal with Baragoyf, which can get quite big because we have Enchantment and Artifact here. So it could, in theory, get out of reach of Unholy Heat. But Baragoyf is also something that we're pretty well adjusted to take out because we've got the Wastelands, we've got the Dazes, all that stuff. So this is what I'm going to play in the upcoming league, and I'm really excited about it. And if you want to watch more tempo, be sure to check that out. And if you've watched this far in the video, please leave a comment with any feedback you have on my play. I will never shoot the messenger. I just want to get better. And you can subscribe if you'd like, but tell your friends that there's this guy who does lots of crazy brews. And I mean, there are lots of guys on Legacy, on YouTube that do lots of crazy brews, but I really do enjoy brewing. And I think it's the most fun part of Magic for me is, there's the old saying, oh, you brewed a deck and it's Delver, right? And technically what we played today was basically Delver, but it's not really we made a lot of decisions. Let's pull up my list again. We made a lot of decisions and trade-offs, and that's what good deck building is. I mean, not if you want to have perfect mana, go play Jeskai, Stoneblade, and just play your basics and then get destroyed. Unfortunately, that's how Eldrazi is just going to roll right over you. But then if you want to be able to surgically take out Storm decks, which we only faced one, and they were kind of non-games, play the deck that has the Daze, the Wasteland, the Forces, the Thoughtseize, all that stuff, right? So there were a lot of trade-offs, and the biggest thing I would say if you're brewing is try to stay in 1 or 2 colors. It gets really hard once you get into 3 colors. In theory, it's not that big of a deal. In practice, you get wasted all the time, or you just happen to draw 2 Underground Seas and 0 Volcanic Islands and stuff like that, right? So, but keep brewing. Don't just net deck. Nothing wrong with net decking and getting good with a deck that has already been proven. I would strongly recommend, I'm a little biased in this, picking up my mono black aggro deck. I just trophied with Moonshadow aggro, mono black. It's a $600 deck. That's a great list if you're new to Legacy. Check it out. Until next time, be excellent to each other and party on.